Want to talk about money? Hey, I'm Lindsay Elizabeth and I'm zooming this out. My name's Lindsay Elizabeth and I am a self-published indie author with 2 books out right now. They're behind me. They're also out on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. Pretty much every single month I come online since I started publishing in January of 2023 and I tell you guys how much money I made because I just wanted to bring some transparency into the publishing industry, especially on the indie author side, and I hadn't seen a lot of people doing this unless they were making like thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's also just kind of a fun way for me to go back and see like all the ups and downs and things and kind of just share my insights with you guys. And while we're talking about ups and downs, this was for August 2024, a little down. Not gonna lie to you. So I will give you like a quick rundown about my books in case you might like them, in case you enjoy reading. And then I will share all of the stats that led up to the revenue. There will be timestamps down below, so if you just want to know like literally how much money I made in August as an indie author, you can click that, that's fine. But then we're also just gonna chat, like I said, kind of about my insights, and I do hope that you stay for that time because I really appreciate the watch hours. Let's be real, I'm a growing small channel. Yeah. So as far as marketing my books goes, I will start off by saying that I do all of my marketing very organically on social media. It's mostly through like TikTok, Reels, and YouTube, so it is short form video content that I am creating and posting myself. And I will put a little disclaimer that as an indie author, I literally do everything myself. I have a marketing degree and a creative writing minor and a graphic design minor. So I like took a stab at doing my own covers because I've been doing that since I was like 14, so I took a stab at it, but like I can do graphic design. Like obviously I'm not an expert in all of these different fields, but I feel like I have a good enough grasp on it that I actually didn't spend any money on an editor or anything. So these are literally just all done by me. And I appreciate every single person who reads them. So if you want to read them, they will be linked in the description. But let's get into what some of these books are about. Well, there's only 2. So let's get into what both these books are about. And maybe a little sneak peek at the third one. Another quick disclaimer, I do have a microphone attached to my camera, but if you hear weird breathing and slobbering noises, I do have 2 dogs. They just went for a walk and now they're like chewing toys and bones and stuff. Yeah. So I currently have 2 books out, like I said. I think there are a lot of different genres that you could use to describe this series. It's interconnected, it's spicy, whether you like that or not, that is up to you, but there is open door scenes in these books. And it is high fantasy set in a different world, and there is romance in each and every book. It has been compared, especially the first book, to like Avatar: The Last Airbender in like a Game of Thrones world, because there is a lot of political intrigue and secrets and just things going on behind the scenes that don't have to do with the romance. Like the romance is a big part of the story, but there's also so much more going on. So my little pitch for these books are that Kingdom of Ash and Shadow follows a morally gray firebending king as he forcibly marries the enemy's sheltered waterbending princess who said to keep her powers a secret her entire life in order to stop a war between their 2 kingdoms. Kel is our main male character. He is the morally gray firebending king, and I say morally gray in the sense that he's more like very misunderstood and has to do some slightly morally gray things in order to keep up this persona of being this really terrible king. And Rosalie is our sheltered waterbending princess who's had to keep her powers a secret her whole life because her parents are actually in charge of one of the most influential kingdoms. She has 5 older brothers. She is the only sibling that has magical powers. So then, since this is an interconnected fantasy series, these are not linear stories. This book, the second book, is called Kingdom of Shadow and Ice, and it follows Anik, who is a high fae queen, and she is on this journey between finding love and seeking revenge, and she knows that she can't have both, but a choice is made for her. So these 2 stories, they are interconnected. The covers do like line up where they are looking at each other, which I had a really fun time with graphic design wise. And then basically these 2 stories meet because of the third book. So like I said, both of these books follow different narrators. The first one, Kingdom of Ash and Shadow, is dual point of view, so it follows Kel and Rosalie. And then the second book, Kingdom of Shadow and Ice, is only in Anik's point of view. And then without spoiling it, really the third book will follow a brand new narrator. Her name is Genesis, and she is a blind seer, and it basically starts out with ending lines of the first 2 books in a nightmare that she's having, and she just has this overwhelming intuition that she's going to die. And she has no idea who this is. She thinks it's the love of her life. And then she's just on this journey to save her love. Secrets start coming out. She ends up basically reuniting or uniting these characters, and it's a wild time. Hopefully that wasn't too sporadic. It's really hard explaining like an entire series in a couple minutes. So if you stuck around for that, thank you. And if you want to check them out, they're linked below. Let's get to the numbers. So I publish only through Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, which makes my reporting super duper easy. I only have one platform to look at. So I will go through the orders and the pages read, and then I will tell you the revenue number. For orders in the month of August, I had 9 total. 6 of them were for the first book, Kingdom of Ash and Shadow, and the other 3 were for Kingdom of Shadow and Ice. And yes, I do know that the titles sound really generic, and it's like, did you just say the same thing multiple times? And basically yes, and that is on purpose, and that's because it's Kingdom of Ash and Shadow, Kingdom of Shadow and Ice, so you have the Shadow, and then Kingdom of Ice and Nightmares, so you have the Ice. And then the 4th book will be called Kingdom of Nightmares and Ash. So it will do a full loop, and it will be quite interesting. So I hope you stick around. Anyways, 9 orders. And last month for pages read, I had a total of 11,369, which is like at least half of what I usually get. So we'll go through that a little bit more in the insights portion after I talk about the revenue number. If you like these kinds of videos, would you mind like hitting some YouTube buttons wherever they are on your screen, like a like, a share, a save, I don't know, a subscribe, maybe, that'd be super cool. And if you like these types of videos and this is your first time seeing me, I do have a few more on my page, and they will be in a playlist called Income Transparency. So check those out. August 2024, I made $69.65. That doesn't sound like a lot, does it? Maybe it does. I feel like everyone's at a different spot in their author journey, and $69 could be amazing. $69 could be, how the fuck do I pay my bills, you know? I will say, however, that this is not my main source of income. I do have like a regular 9-to-5 job where I work in marketing, so I am not heartbroken, devastated, scrambling about $69 in an entire month. August, across the board, from what I can tell, from what I've heard from other indie authors, from what I've looked up and Googled, August is an extremely slow month. It is actually one of the worst months across the board for book sales, mostly fiction book sales. It sucks. With this kind of insights portion, I did want to go through some of my numbers just from the entire year, or just like very quickly go through my numbers for the year as far as page reads go, because that is usually where the bulk of my money comes from. And like I said, that is through Kindle Unlimited. So to give you an idea of how bad, and bad is so relative, like I said, the journey's all different and depends where you are and what you expect and what your goals are. For me, this would be a bad month. Like I said, I'm not heartbroken about it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, woe is me, I'm never gonna write anything amazing again. Like, it's fine. We move on. We continue. We persevere. But to give you an idea of my page reads, I do have my laptop right over here out of frame. So I started off the year like pretty strong. Like first quarter was really good, and then third quarter it was like, you thought. And so like even January was a little bit slow for me, and that I had like 20,000 page reads. It was like almost 21,000. And then it like doubled in February, and I was like, sweet, is at 43,000. And then March I had like my best month ever, literally hands down. I think I made almost like $500, and I had 78,000 page reads, and I was like, I was so pumped, because after last year, when I kind of figured out like how much I made throughout the whole year, which I do want to make a video on that, I was like, I didn't really have goals when I published. Maybe I should set a goal to like double my income now that I kind of know what I'm doing, and I've had 2 books out like for the whole year, and I'm planning on releasing this 3rd book. Maybe my goal is to double my year income from books. That'd be sweet. And I was like, dang, I might be on track for that. And then it dipped a little bit to like 36,000, and then in May it was 38,000, and then in June it was like not amazing again, but it was 46,000, which was like really good for me. And then July it was 22,000, and I was like, back down to like where we were in January. That's fine. That's fine. It's all good. And then August with 11,000, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna double my income, but I am still really grateful for like everybody who picks up my book. And I swear, like every single month as an indie author, I get this feeling where I'm like, what if everybody who's ever gonna read my book has already read it? And like, that's why the page reads are going down. Like if I have a bad month, that's like not true. That's why we persevere. You push out the imposter syndrome, the intrusive thoughts, and you're like, look at what big authors are doing. I mean, people are still reading Harry Potter, not that I condone J.K. Rowling. They're still reading Ektar, not that I condone what SJM has done, but it's like millions of people, like probably millions. Maybe I should Google it. But anyways, huge numbers of people are still reading their books. They're just finding out about their books. It's like, you know, if you haven't heard of Sarah J. Maas and you read fantasy, like, of course you wouldn't have heard of Lindsay Elizabeth, you know? I'm like, it'll find its people. It'll get there. Not that I'm banking on it. I'm just like, that's a fun thought. So that's my thoughts on that. We'll see if September does anything. And then I do plan on releasing the third book, Kingdom of Ice and Nightmares, at like the end of October or like very early November. So that might push it out to like more people, which could be really cool. I'm really excited to like look back on this video when it releases and then see the snowball effect. That'll be fun. I think that's kind of all I've got as far as insights go, you know? But yeah, that was my slow August as an indie author with 2 books out. I don't know if I have much else to say about that, except for thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!